She didn't know his name. She only saw his body lying in the snow like a broken doll. The storm howled like a wounded animal, swallowing the sound of screams, crackling trees, and fear. But she went. Her fucking intuition spoke louder. She put her backpack on the ground, knelt in the snow, and turned him on his side. Blood. In the corner of his mouth, in his hair, and a nasty cut on his arm. The guy was unconscious, breathing shallowly, as if his soul had already checked out. But she stayed. She knelt down, held his face, and tapped him lightly. Nothing. Again. Nothing. Until he coughed. Weak, almost invisible. But he coughed. And it was there, in that cursed piece of fucking mountain in the middle of nowhere, that her destiny was turned upside down. Because what she didn't know, was that that fucking freezing guy was worth more than the entire city where she was born. Now stop everything. If you think this story is already crazy, wait until you see what this bastard did when he woke up. But first, do the following: click like, subscribe to this fucking channel, turn on the bell, and get ready to see something that will leave you speechless. We don't tell fairy tales here, we spill the shit. So subscribe and come with me, you won't believe what this fucking billionaire did after she saved his life. Back to the story. She managed to drag him into a cave, piled up some branches, and tried to start a fire. The fucking lighter wouldn't work. The wood was wet. Her hands were shaking. The guy was moaning softly. And she was there with her heart in her throat, sweating cold despite the ice around her. When the flame caught, she almost cried. She took off his jacket and saw a nasty cut on his chest, and even though she didn't know if it would work, she sewed it up the way she learned from watching emergency videos on YouTube. Each stitch was a desperate plea to the universe: don't die, damn it, don't die now. He slept. 4 hours. Maybe days. She shared what little she had, a protein bar, some water, even an old piece of gum. Anything to keep him alive. Without knowing who he was. Without knowing if he was a murderer, sick, or crazy. But she stayed. And that, my friend, that's what changes the game. The first thing he said when he woke up: "You saved me." She laughed. A nervous, exhausted laugh, with dark circles under her eyes. "It looks like it, huh?" And he looked at her like he was seeing a ghost. Because it had been a long time since anyone had saved him. It had been a long time since anyone had done anything for him without asking for something in return. But she was different. And he knew it. Over the next few days, they got to know each other. He didn't say much. He had a somewhat lost look, as if he had left half his mind out there in the snowstorm. But there was a moment, one night when the fire was almost dying, that he told her. He told her his name. He told her he owned a technology company. He said he was a billionaire. She laughed. She thought he was delirious from the fever. Sure, Elon Musk of the swamp. And he just smiled. Because it was true. She had saved a man who could buy the world. And she had no idea. Now take a deep breath, because what he did when he came down from that mountain will blow your mind. It wasn't just to say thank you. It wasn't to give her a gift. It wasn't just to buy her a coffee. The crazy guy had a plan. One of those plans that Netflix would beg to turn into a series. But that's part 2. And you'll have to stick around to see it. But calm down. Have you subscribed to this shit yet? Have you activated the bell? Because if you haven't done that yet, get out of this video now, brother. This channel delivers stories that don't make it on TV, don't make it in the newspaper, don't even make it into the neighborhood gossip. This is real life with a movie script. So subscribe, leave a like, and hold on tight, because the next part will make you rethink everything you know about luck, destiny, and the power of a decision in the midst of chaos. She woke up to the sound of footsteps. Weak, dragging. For a moment she thought it was an animal prowling around the cave entrance, but it was him. Standing, trembling, leaning against the stone wall as if the whole world weighed on his shoulders. His eyes were sunken, his beard unshaven, and there was something in his gaze that mixed pain and confusion, like someone who had returned from a place where hope had been buried. "You should have left me there," he muttered, his voice hoarse, almost a whisper. She didn't answer, just stared at him. Her gaze was steady, though exhausted. Her face was pale, her lips chapped from the cold, but her posture said it all: "I stayed because I wanted to." "I don't leave anyone to die," she replied, and it was those words that seemed to break something inside him. He approached slowly and sat down with difficulty on the other side of the almost extinguished fire. "My name is Daniel." She nodded, showing no surprise. He looked around, as if only then realizing where he was. The silence lingered between them for a while, a silence laden with questions that neither of them knew how to ask. The days that followed were a mixture of waiting and survival. She would leave for a few hours, looking for dry branches, clean snow to melt, traces of food, while he slowly regained his strength, becoming more and more lucid. Sometimes they exchanged a few words. Other times, he just stared at the fire as if he wanted to forget everything he had left down there, in the world. It was on one of those nights, when the wind outside seemed calmer and the fire inside the cave illuminated their faces with a flickering light, that he finally told her. "I own a technology company." She raised her eyebrow, with that skeptical half-smile of someone who has seen a lot of lies. "Oh, really? A CEO lost in the snow?" He laughed for the first time. And it wasn't mockery. It was a laugh of relief. "Yes. Billionaire, if that still matters." She crossed her arms. "Okay, Elon Musk of the swamp." But this time he didn't answer. He just stared at the fire and said, "I had a nervous breakdown in the middle of a trail. It was supposed to be just a retreat. To go offline, get out of the bubble. But the helicopter got lost. I fell. No one found me. Until you." And she stood there, her heart racing, trying to understand if it was true or just another delusion of a man on the brink of death. "Why didn't you tell me before?" she asked. "Because no one believes me. And because I needed to see if I was still just a name or if anyone could see me without the money." And that's when everything changed. In the days that followed, she saw the way he looked at her. Not with debt, but with respect. She was different from everything he knew. She wasn't there for status, fame, or advantage. She simply saved him because she could. And that disarmed him. When the storm finally passed, they managed to get down together. The trail was difficult, but now he was walking more steadily. In the village, the first thing he did was call. One phone call. The voice on the other end freaked out when they heard he was alive. In less than 2 hours, a private jet was ready to pick him up. And she, backpack on her back, ready to move on with her life, wasn't expecting anything. Really. She just wanted to take a hot shower and forget all the chaos. But he wouldn't let her. At the airport, he stopped in front of her, looked her in the eyes and said, "You saved me. Now it's my turn." She thought it was just talk. But she agreed to get on the plane, just out of curiosity. In less than a day, they were in a penthouse in New York, overlooking the entire city. The next day, he introduced her to the team of directors, the projects, the company. And more than that, he made her an offer. Not money. A chance. A position, a role, a mission. He said he wanted someone there he could really trust. "You're not just brave. You're what this world is missing, real." She almost laughed. But she accepted. And in the months that followed, what seemed like a crazy fairy tale turned into a real story. An ordinary woman from a humble background became the right-hand woman of one of the most powerful men in the country. And no one had any idea how it all started. But here comes the craziest part. The plan he came up with. It wasn't just about gratitude. It was about transforming everything. He started investing in secret projects, using his reach to change the lives of invisible people, created a foundation in her name, and in everything, absolutely everything, she was involved. Because he knew that without her, none of that would exist. But that's only half of what he really did. Because the part that no one knows, not even her, is that Daniel left something on that mountain. Something buried. Something he went back there to retrieve. And what he did after that. But first, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, now's your chance. Click the button, turn on the bell, and get ready, because the end of this story isn't just an ending, it's a turning point. And those who follow it to the end will never see life the same way again. After all, what started as a rescue in the snow turned into a silent network of transformation. They disappeared from the world's radar, but not from its impact. That school they set up in a remote village. It became a training center for young people rejected by the system. Boys and girls whom the whole world had given up on, but who found a new chance there. And it was all financed by him, the man she saved. But no one knew who he really was. He used another name, another life. And her? She never wanted fame, never wanted the spotlight. What she wanted, she had already found, purpose. And even with everything they had been through, they kept the code safe. That file he carried with such fear. Because they knew that in the wrong hands, it could cause irreversible damage. But if one day the world needed real change, a turnaround that would tear the script from top to bottom, they would be ready. One night, years later, she found a letter from him on the table. Short, direct, but with the weight of a lifetime. He was gone. No fuss. No warning. One last gesture to protect her, because he knew that the network of invisible eyes was still watching, waiting for a mistake. But he left something with the letter, the password to the safe where the code was kept. And the sentence, "If the world falls, you'll know what to do." She read it, closed her eyes, and understood. It wasn't about romantic love, nor about emotional depths. It was about a mission. About something that was born in the midst of chaos and blossomed in silence. The storm that almost killed them was the same one that awakened all of this. And now, time has passed. The school has become a reference point. Young people have left and moved to other cities. And the project? Still stored away. Intact. Waiting for the right moment. If you've stayed this far, you deserve to hear this. The greatest stories are not always told in books or on screens. They happen in secret, away from the cameras, in the silent choices of ordinary people. And the one you just heard was one of them. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and share with someone who needs to believe that there is still purpose amid the chaos. Because in the next video, the story continues, with another twist that may be even more intense. And remember, not every hero wears a cape. Some just wear courage. See you next time.